Alright guys, welcome to a new video on this channel. It's been a longer time and you see the Tenpai deck here. I played two regionals, one in Naburg and one in Maintal. And I played Tenpai there, pure Tenpai actually, not the Bestial Fiend Tenpai variant that I was running at the European Championship. No, it was pure. I thought it's a good meta call, and you always know that I like to do meta calls like Kastira, like Bestial Tenpai and also this Tenpai variant. Um, it did not perform as I wanted to, which was mainly due to variants. I will explain this later when I go over the matchups, but also I have not used the interruptions in the best possible way, and that also played a part in it. But I do believe that with this version, if you do use your interruptions very well, you can do more or better than I did. So yeah, without further ado, let's go into this deck and put the wonderful Fiat Center away from the Chaos Emperor Dragon. You know, my favorite card of all time. But before I go into deck profile, some shoutouts. Shout out to Peter always for lending me the Perulias. He will get them back at some point, and I'll buy new ones. But you know, for now, I'll still lend them. Shout out to Linus and Yuyan for getting me the Dominus Impulses. And obviously, shout out to Yanis for still lending me the Fenrir, even though I told him, hey, I will get them back at the end of August. But he didn't ask for them yet, so, but yeah. Your Fenrir has been used a great amount of times, so thank you very much for that. And also shout out to Craig Smith, been my testing partner and my theory partner, and so yeah, thank you for Craig too. Anyways, let's get into the deck profile. I'll put the side deck to the side, the extra deck to the side, and then we'll get to the main deck first. I've sorted these cards, obviously. So yeah, let's go through the engines. I mean, that's only one or two if you want to call them all Charming engine. But we ran 3 Pydra, one Chundra, 1 Fadra, and 3 Genroku. And then also 1 Dora. So I thought that I should kind of max it out on these cards because I think they are very valuable to have. Especially the Pydra and the Genroku are obviously really good going first too, because it's what you're gonna do in the deck eventually in game 3 or 2, depending on if you won or lost the first one. So yeah, access to these cards is always phenomenal. I include the Dora because of mathematical reasons. Because I didn't like the amount of starter that I have without the Dora. And with the Dora, it's just enough for one regional, where you play 7 to 9 rounds. I want to say 8, but the math also checks for 9 if you want to round up a little bit. If you're being a little bit cheaty on that side, I would say. But yeah, this one Dora is good for mathematical reasons. If you want to know the math exactly behind it, then let me know in the comments below. But it's not that important. And yeah, the Pydra is going to search as the Sangen Kaima and the Sangen Summoning. And those are all the Tenpai engine cards that we have. There's obviously some supplementary engines like the Magnum Hood and the Terraforming, which acts as more engine cards. But I'll just count the pure Tenpai engine in this way, the engine card. Then that's about the Tenpai cards. You see not that many because, I mean, Chundra is limited, so what the fuck can we do? For the breakers, I tried a breaker kind of approach, but I also include some amount of hand traps. So it's kind of a mix between both. And I tried to include the best of both worlds. You'll see what I mean in a second. I tried 3 Book of Eclipse because I thought this is a really great card against Yummy, which it is, but sometimes just does not do enough. And especially if you cannot OTK, just giving them draws is just usually the end for you. So yeah, 3 Book of Eclipse also against Vengeful K9, really strong card, because they don't really have a way to negate it except Ash Blossom. And yeah, you can Ash Book of Eclipse because of the draw effect in the end phase. But the card was good, I want to say, but it wasn't not overperforming to the max. So I would probably cut it down to 2 or even 1, depending on how I want to build this deck in the future, if I want to play it. To be honest, I got kind of depressed at the results because the results were not that great. I'll talk about them after deck profile, but the deck deserves some more justice. That's all I'm saying. And maybe I'll try once more in the next regional, which is coming up in 1 week in Stuttgart. Maybe I'll try that a last like budget version where I talked to my friends what I can cut and whatnot. But we'll see. Um, then 3 droplet. Droplet was completely crazy. This card is like insane in this current format. Like it's overperforming the crazy. It just 1v9 Dragotail because you can. They have to target the stuff that they with the traps, and you can just send the stuff they target with droplet. It doesn't even resolve. Absolutely crazy. I only played one of each breakers, simply because I thought that these are not that crazy this format because back row is not really that like it's not that crazy. You don't need that much back row removal currently, but Raigeki was overperforming like crazy. I also wanna go over the other ones really quick. One called by, then the prosperity and the terraforming as like engine cards or like more engine cards. Prosperity to search whatever you need, and terraforming obviously for the second summoning. So let me put these into the stable here as well, but these are essentially also acting as breakers, especially the prosperity. Obviously the one of talent, and I played one trust. That was the best decision I've ever did. I don't know who did it, but one guy in my Twitch chat, when I was trying to build the deck, told me just because I had one spot left, a 39 card deck, and he was like, yeah, just put one trust in it, why not? And bro, this decision was crazy. So yeah, the one trust is here. And that's about it. That's the breakers. You see it's not that many. Going forward, I would probably play some amount of Super Polies and maybe more Raigekis. Raigeki was, as I said, it was overperforming like crazy. I thrusted for Raigeki so many times. I even thrusted for Raigeki more than I thrusted for Talent or Terraforming, which is absolutely crazy to think about it. But yeah, those are all the breakers. Eclipse was okay. I would probably cut it down to 1 or 2. And Raigeki was overperforming crazy. Droplet 2, like these cards are just insane. The rest are just hand traps. Like hand traps, you'll see what I mean. One Magnamut, just overall broken cards. The only issue right now is that against Dragotail and against K9 Vanquish Soul, it doesn't really, it doesn't stop them from anything. Only Yummy, but also not that much. But again, Magnamut is just really, really good overall because it searches to engine, which is like the only reason you play it essentially. Then 3 Fuva, 3 Purulia. All of these cards are just phenomenal. Whenever you draw them, it's a 40 card deck, by the way, just so you know before. And the math essentially for the Charmies essentially checks out that if you run 5 Charmies in a 40 card deck, you are destined to draw one each time, mathematically speaking. So by running 6 Charmies, you kind of make up for that, and you draw maybe more than one, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. Which is obviously bad, but I never really drew 3 Charmies. I think I only draw like 1 or 2, which is like good. That's exactly like how you want to build the deck. Yeah, those are the Charmies. Then I played the Playframe, Gamma, and Driver, simply because I like these cards, and also because I think they have like really nice applications this format. Mainly the Mululu or Cartesia in Dragotail, which is a rough matchup because of Dragotail Flame, and because of Raisin. I mean, it just cooks Raisin so hard. And it also cooks the Yummy strategy. It also cooks like Rogue deck. It cooks everything. Like Gamma is just completely busted. And during testing in DB, I had situations where I even used it in my turn, which is like crazy to even think about. Like something like Terraforming gets ashed, or summoning gets ashed, or Ghost Ogre, and you just Gamma them. Which is the reason why I play Omega in the extra deck. You'll see that, like you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? It came up, okay? It came up more often than other options, but going forward, I'll probably cut it. Simply because I drew Gamma like 2 or 3 times, which is already more than mathematically it should be happening, but I drew Driver a little bit more than that. And the one time I draw the Gamma, it didn't even matter. So yeah, I would probably cut it in the future, but I really like the card, so that's why I played it. And the other cards are just 3 Dominus Import and 3 Infinite Permanence. Yeah, I mean, Import just crazy ass card. Like these cards overperform like crazy. Also Imperm, which is insane, bro. Like the amount of times I did not play into Izuna because of these cards, crazy good. So yeah, this is like also one of the, I would say, advantages of the deck. You only have this amount of card to play into the K9 Izuna. And again, K9 Vengeful Soul, the Magna Mood doesn't even have applications sometimes. And then sometimes you draw the driver, and though you only really have 7 cards that play into K9 Izuna, which I think is pretty solid. Like, if this is resolved, then you almost always win against K9 Vengeful, and if you draw the Gamma and you use them Gamma on a really like a Raiden or something, then even the Izuna doesn't do shit, so it doesn't matter. So technically, this is really, really good against K9 Vengeful, and I would continue doing that. Extra deck is pretty straightforward, I would say. Sorry, my nose is itching. 1 Trident, 1 Transcendent, and 2 Joe Bidens. I don't really think you need more in this like kind of deck, more than these 4. The second Biden comes up because in going first, you want to make seals, but you don't want to make seals by like Genroku and like the Pydra or something. You want to link these off for the Biden, so you have a Biden in the graveyard. So in case the enemy tried to OTK you, which can happen because you only have seals and a couple of interruptions left in order to stop the enemy, just Biden to survive 1 more turn, even though you waste the 1 per duel effect, is sometimes mandatory in order to live. And another thing is that sometimes the enemy tries to kill you or he tries to damage you, you survive for some reason, and then if he did 3 attacks and sets the card fate down, you go end fate, revive Biden, and then pop. And I had so many cases where I didn't use a graveyard effect at all, even with a seal, so I just went sealed on field and didn't use it in the graveyard because I already had engine in hand or whatever. And then they did Lupus, or like Lupis, but Lupis can only special in the main phase, so keep that in mind, because then you can just go end phase Biden and then pop. That is important. So yeah, those are the 3 or the 4 Tenpai Synchro. Then the Playframe Omega that I was talking about, it came up on DB, it never came up in the 17 rounds I played the 2 regionals together, so I would cut it going forward. Ruddy Roll, same thing. It has like nice applications. There was 1 game against the 1 Yummy guy. Shout out to Alec, by the way, he drove me back to Nuremberg, which is, he was overall just a wonderful guy, like really. I had very fun playing against him. I played Yummy, and it was a really grindy game, and there was this case, or like this time, where you only had 2 names left in the deck, and the rest was just in the grave. Like everything was in the graveyard, and I was like, a damn, Ruddy Rose would go crazy here, but I didn't have like the mean to do it. So I think even if it comes up, there's like better thing to go into, or just OTK, or just accept that you probably like have like better targets. The Black Rose, however, I would keep it. It came up, and also there's a really nice niche implication that you can do. You can go Black Rose, and if they try to negate it, you can Book of Eclipse to flip it fate down if they target it, negate it. And even if they try to negate it with other things, you can go Droplet and then to Black Road Dragon, which is really, really funny. But yeah, Black Rose, I would keep playing it going forward. I play 1 Mega Fleet. I think Crystron kind of always played into it because they want to have their Omni at all costs because it's a fucking good card. Like, Infinity is crazy. But the fact that they can not really play around the Mega Fleet except by soaking it all monster, which is stupid to even think about, or like make SP in a really, like very weird position, is just weird. And then you just go normal summon Hand Trap, make Army Rush. Yes, I do play Army Rush, or Striker Dragon, which I would probably cut, but we'll talk about that later. And then you go Army Rush or Striker Dragon. You just go Mega Fleet and then rip apart the board another way. 1 Typhon came up multiple times. The amount of times where you just cannot win, but you still have like a lot of like hand traps or breakers like Droplet or Eclipse or Impulse, something left in your hand. It's crazy. You just go Typhon, bounce, and that's it. So yeah, that's really good. And then for the links, I play Promethean, Hita, SP, Seals, Striker Dragon, and Army Rush. All of these came up except Striker Dragon. So going forward, I think I would cut Striker Dragon because it didn't really, like the Striker Dragon, you only really play him because of SP. But honestly, you don't really need it. Like, I don't even think that SP is that mandatory, but it helped me once. I would probably not cut it going forward, but yeah, the Army Rush came up twice actually. 1 to make SP, like 1 time, because I had a Magna from Seals. And he didn't have the meat to kill it. So I just went, I drew Purulia, normal summon Purulia, make it Mirage, and then go into SP to kill. And the other time was the same amount of, the same concept. Magnamut was there. I went Mirage with the Charmy, and then I made Hita, and Hita into Promethean, Promethean revive Fadra, Fadra revive Chundra, and then go decay. So yeah, Promethean Hita came up more than once, and Seals obviously have to play it. So these are 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 cards. But yeah, I would probably cut Striker and Ruddy Rose and Omega for more Super Poly targets. And this is obviously a thing. I think you should play Super Poly going forward, yeah. I played 6 Yummies out of 17 matches. And 2 Dragotail. And against those, Super Poly is just crazy. And sometimes even against K9 Vanquish, so Super Poly does something. Although it doesn't do like something that often. But still sometimes. So I think Super Poly is a good card. But maybe only 2. Maybe only 2 instead of 3. Because you still go -1, which kind of sucks. But, you know, I think the card is really, really good. And you should play it. Especially going forward next format. Because Yummy will be a little bit more often on the radar. For the side deck, I have a very interesting side deck because in Tenpai you have to like figure out if you go second or first, so it's sometimes weird. I play 2 Fenrir, 1 Kogemaru Drago. This card like literally the worst card in my side deck, by the way. The fact that the monsters you summon off seals are 0/0 in terms of stats makes that card very vulnerable to just go battlefield and take over it, because they know that you don't really have that many pushes left. Because if seal special this, obviously you have already engine in hand, but I don't know, this card just was ass, really. I summoned it one time off sealed, it got killed immediately, and then the Yummy player just kept comboing. And the other time I made it, I had no other play going first, because I drew like 2 Genrokus, and then I had to go normal summon Drago, and hope that the guy didn't have an out, and he went Prosperity for 3. Third card was Impermanent, just outed, so yeah. Oh yeah, I made it another time and then it got Droplet. So I don't know, this card's just ass, man. Like, I would not play it anymore. 3 draw for K9 Vengeful and other rogue matchups where draw is good again. Obviously, it sucks against Yummy and Dragotail, so obviously don't side it in there. And the rest is just pure going first cards. So it's Heat Soul, Heat Wave, Solemn Judgment, and 3 Solemn Warning. So the way I played the deck, and now I think I have to talk about the siding pattern a little bit. I will put these cards here. I hope you can see it all with the cam. If not, then let me look really quick. Oh yeah, you can see it in the cam. All right. So this and then these 3. So my siding pattern essentially was quite convoluted, I would say, but it was still fine. In matchup, especially like where draw is good, which means K9 Vengeful, if I won the first game, which was about 80% of the time I won first game, so it's a good ratio. Even though I didn't play perfect, that's what I mean. I meant to say this in the end, but I said in the beginning too. I'll just say it again here in the middle of the video. I did not play perfect, obviously. I do believe that if this deck is being played perfectly at the highest level, if you know everything, if you know when to stop the opponent at the perfect time, etc., I believe this deck can even win a regional. So yeah, I think if someone is determined to win, and if they know this deck in and out, and if they know the format in and out, if they know the enemy card in and out, then they can easily win with this deck. But anyways, against K9 Vengeful and other decks where draw was good again. I always said the 2 Gamma and the 1 Driver and the 3 Breakers, the 3 like Destroy Breakers, for these 5 cards. So it was 5 against 5. So even if the enemy let me first, obviously I still have the more Charm in my main deck, which did not really matter that much because you always make Seal pass. And if you, I had the situation where I had Purulia Fuva against K9 Vengeful. I had the exact same setup. So I made Seals. I had the Impulse and Imperm in my hand. So I had Imperm, Impulse, Fuva, Purulia, and Genroku. So I made Genroku, effect Genroku, special Fadra. Fadra, revive Genroku, make Seals, pass. And then he did, what did he do? He did, I think it was normal summon Raisin. if I wanna lie. I'm not sure. But I think it was Raisin. Normal summon Raisin, and then add something. And because I don't want him to do the link, I immediately get it back because it was his normal summon. He added Holy too. And then I went Seals. Seals bounce Raisin. I go effect Seals to special from deck. And then I go shelling 2 Ferulia, shelling 3 Fuva. And he was like, yeah, okay, sure. So obviously I cannot use my imperm, but he was under double Charmy even though I was going first. And so I just drew so many cards. And funnily enough, I even drew the Magna Mood. Because I didn't special him, I specialed I specialed not again Roku, and not the Magna. Just because I wanted him to use more interactions in terms of things. But yeah, that was fine, and I really liked it. Anyways, then if I go first, I always tighten these 9 cards for these breakers, like these 9 cards against these 9 cards, and then the 2 Fenrir for the 2 Psyframes. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, the siding pattern wasn't very clean. Like, I felt really, really good siding with that deck, but theory can only get you so far, is what I'm trying to say. Because in a multitude of games I had, like in 3 games especially, I drew in game 3 going third, I drew only engine. So twice I had 3 Genroku in hand, and one time I had 2 Genroku and double Tenpai spell plus prosperity or something. So yeah, that felt really ass. But yeah, this is the siding pattern, and that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed this little deck profile of this Tenpai Dragon deck. I think Tenpai is still a completely valid strategy. Deck felt crazy good, especially like going second to this format is actually like manageable. The only issue is Paradise Smasher, and the other issue is not Malice actually. Malice is fine, but Mitsugi Raziel. The fact that Prayers and Habakiri is still not limited, and the fact that the Pharaoh Imp is still not limited, is a crime to humanity. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. I think the deck is good, but it obviously has some weak points, especially like Paradise Smasher and stuff like whatnot. So you gotta be careful and aware of this. That as long as Paradise Smasher is still legal, the deck will always be weird to play because you don't really want to play into the Paradise Smasher, but so you have to with the Charmies that you almost always draw. So it's weird, but I personally would say that deck is very fun to play, and I may well play it at the next regional next week in Stuttgart with 500 players. I will see, maybe with an updated version of it because I had a lot of fun with it, and I realized that going from Naburg to Maintal, like from the first to the second regional, I became better. So I knew where to place my interruption a little bit more better, and especially how to play engines. Because for some reason I always in the first regional and the testing I always did like Genroku for Pydra for a spell, and then I went Battle Phase for Kaiman, but I can just go Genroku for Chundra, go Battle Phase and then Chundra damage step, and then they cannot negate the Pydra at all. But it's weak to Veiler or Imperm on the Chundra, but I think that's just a gamble you can have to take. Especially if you play against K9 Bangisol, you know they don't really have Imperms or Veilers, so that's good. I think it all depends on which deck you're playing against, if you do which route, etc. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little deck profile, or this longer deck profile, it's already 24 minutes. Tenpai is a crazy deck. I think you can still build the deck a little bit different, but this already feels really nicely optimized, as you can already see from the siding pattern, etc. There was being put a lot of thought there. So if there's any Tenpai Dragon player out there that knows the format better than I do, and that's a better player than I am, please try this version out. Maybe with Super Poly, maybe with less Book of Ixalan, maybe with a Raigeki more or something, I don't know. And try this out. I think this actually has like some potential. But yeah, without further ado, I still want to have one last shout out before we go here. You realize that I play a lot of Kashtira. I did a lot of Kashtira videos. I was sitting next to my friend at this regional. I played with him because both of our rounds were over. And one guy was sitting next to me and he's like, wait, what the fuck, I know you. And I'm like, no way. And he's like, yeah, I watched your Kashtira videos. So huge shout out to that guy because it just motivated me to do videos again. So yeah, Thank you for that, and have a great day. And yeah, if you have any questions, then leave it down in the comment below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.